or hello for the first time, everyone out there who's interested in synthesis and modular stuff. It's probably going to be a smallish group today, but very happy to have you here, and I'm looking forward to getting into modular. I'm just looking to just over here, looking at my modular synthesis, and check it out. Maybe I'll give you a little sneak peek. What have we got here? Change my view. There's my modular. So just as always, when I'm doing these masterclasses, you know, I expect that people will kind of get involved and say hello and all that kind of stuff. Hello, V. Hey, Mish. I guess for the most part, it seems like most of the people that are on. Actually, I'm going to put myself back on the camera here. Which one is it? So yeah, like with such a small amount of people kind of on the stream, we could have done it by Zoom. So talking to the pathway participants there, and maybe, you know, we will. I do want this information kind of out as a general thing for people to get access to, which is why we decided to do it as a stream. What I'm going to do though is kind of go through some basic stuff first up. Well, not basic stuff, but just do the first part of it, and then this will be like 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes or something. And then we end this live stream, and then we're going to Pathways participants. We'll meet back at my Zoom ID, and then I can take some more like questions, and we can kind of get into it a little bit more. Okay. So for those of you who are not Pathways participants and are like, oh damn, I want to be involved in the Zoom, we will post bits and pieces of the Zoom later. And if you want to be part of the Zoom, you've got to apply to be part of the program next year. So hey everyone, there's a few people that I don't know. There's Molo Oreo, is that right? I'm saying it right? What's up? How are you? Thanks for joining us. Joa Luna, hey, what's up? How are you? Nice to have you here. Then we've got our usual suspects. Hey Manda, Sandrine, I'm not quite sure if we've met before or if we've had any interaction online or anything, but welcome. And Angela's there, and Paria, and Legend. Cool, good stuff. Fez is there. Excellent. Okay, so let's dive in. So today, I'll just go big, and I'll go large. Mahana's there. Hey. Is it Aline or Mahana? Hello, Ash. What's up? Okay, so cool. So intro to synthesis. Now, I decided that I kind of think, I've been teaching synthesis in a number of different ways over the years. And actually, it was only really when I got into modular that I kind of was like, well, that's actually a really good way to talk about synthesis, because it breaks it down to its basics. You have to build it from each module. So when you really understand modular, you understand synthesis. So yeah, look, modular can be completely confusing, and there are aspects to it. And I'm no expert. Like, I'm not here to say I'm an expert, because I definitely am not. But I don't know. I just think it's kind of easy and helpful. Let's see. So first check-in. Have you installed VCV Rack? Have you all done it? If you haven't installed it, quickly go get it, vcvrack.com. Download it and play along as we go, because I don't want you to just be sitting here watching me passively, because that's boring. Okay, so get VCV Rack open, and let's see. Has everyone got it? Has everyone got it? Let me know in the chat if you have got it installed. Okay. Mish, do it. Get on it. It's free. There's no reason not to. Maloa's got it. Cool. All right. So yes, some people have. Great. Okay. So now if we have VCV Rack, like I'll kind of come back to it in a little bit, but let's get going. Okay. Yes. So we're going to make the patches together. So I've already said this, that what modular isn't that you know, people kind of think of modular and I think it's harder, but I kind of don't think that it is. I think that it helps understanding synthesis. So let's dive straight in. So the part one is the basics. So now question, this is interactive. What are the basic components of a synth? So answer into the chat what the basic components of a synth are. And when I say that, what I mean by that is like the main components that are in every synthesizer, you know, the essential parts of a synthesizer. So let's see what we got. Oh, lost my screen there for a second. Just kind of catching up. So basic components, let's see. Come on. You know what's going on. I'm waiting for some interactivity. Oscillator, filter, yes. Okay. So the oscillator is important, yeah. So Maya knows about synthesizers. So okay, so in terms of thinking about building it up, I might just keep this small. So the basis of a synth is a sound source, so an oscillator. It's not always an oscillator because when you get into wavetable synthesis, they're little samples, and there's different types of synthesis, right? So the basics are a sound source and an amplifier. Okay, so now we're going to make that connection. So everyone, we're doing this together. Hang on. I'm going to switch my thing. Okay, now can you hear this? Tell me if you can hear that lovely, lovely sound. Okay, can you hear that coming in? Okay. So I've made the basic connection. So basically we start off with an oscillator, which I have an oscillator here. And then you all can do this with your VCV rack. Okay, just getting my microphone right. So what you're going to do is you're plugging your first patch out of one of your oscillators. Let's start simple with this with a sine wave. And then you go out of the sine wave and then you go into a mixer. Okay, so over here I have a mixer and here's my input. And then this is the volume. Then the final connection is this one here, which goes out of the mixer and into my audio interface. So that's what you should all be doing now. Okay, now what I might also do is perhaps I'm going to stop doing this. I'll remove that one from the stream and I'll get a new screen, and let's see my VCV rack and see what's going on with that. Okay, so we've got the VCV rack and this is the same connection. So you should all have just done something that looks exactly like this. Okay, so we have our oscillator. Now if you want to get a new rack, you control click, right, to get the modules if you don't know how to do that. This is our audio interface. This is our mixer. And then this is our oscillator over here. So sine wave going into the input, and then the mix output going into the device, and then here's the level. I don't know if you can hear that on mine. Great. Okay, so has everyone done that? Is all good? So then the next thing, once we have that, okay, so that's fine, that's easy. What happens next? What are the other key elements that we want to be interacting with to make the synthesizer, you know, usable as a musical instrument? Hey Nokine, how you going? Okay, so what we need is, we need something to make the sound start and stop, right? Exactly. So Nokine's saying then attack, decay, sustain, release. So we do need attack, sustain, decay, release. And what is that? that is an envelope, okay? So that envelope is going to tell the sound to start and tell the sound to stop based on a certain curve, okay? So then we're going to do another patch, and I'm going to put out of my gate out is going to go into, here's my level, into my level, and that turns it off. Okay, so now this is not going to make any sound until I give it a signal. All right, so then the next thing, now I'll catch up with VCV rack in a second. So the next thing that we need is we need to trigger the sound. So there's a few ways we can do that. We can trigger the sound by using a keyboard, like I have here, or we can trigger the sound by using a sequencer. Okay, so let's try it first by using a keyboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is, now maybe I can show you this. So can you see that? I'll just do it. Okay, so my keyboard has got CV output, so I'm going to go out of the gate, and I'm going to go into the input. Is that right? I'm getting really confused here. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh gosh. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Gate, gate, gate. Oh my gosh, I'm just totally having a meltdown, a brain meltdown there. Hang on a second. Let's go to VCV rack. That might be the better option for me at this moment. I just lost the stream there for a second. You're still there? Okay, so let's go. I'll go to VCV rack. Okay, so with VCV rack, I've made my connection here. Now I want to, let's say that I want my, okay, so I want to do this kind of action, right? So I want to decide when the sound starts and stops. So I'm going to go gate out of my MIDI CV is going to do on the CV of my mixer level. And now when I hit my keyboard, that is giving gate information to turn that mixer on and off, okay? So you should follow along and do that as well. Make it larger. Oh, sure. Sorry. There we go. Is that better? Is that okay? Maybe that's even better. Better? Okay, so I'll just give you a chance to kind of catch up on that. Meanwhile, my brain is being a bit weird here. What's going on? So this goes into here. Oh, there we go. And then, is that? Ah, there, okay. Sorry, I just had a little brain stop, trying to do modular synthesis under pressure. I didn't think this one through, did I? All good. Okay, so I'll just show you what I did with my modular stuff. So if we go over here, so the gate is coming out of my keyboard. So there's the gate in, and then that envelope information is coming out here and is going into the mixer. So this is the CV gate information that's coming out there, okay? So they're the two connections that we made. Cool, okay. So we now have a sound that comes on and off. If I move my, hang on, I'm going to go back. Okay, so I move my attack decay and I can make it short. Cool. But now I'm missing something. What I'm missing is that we don't have any pitch. So then we need to think about where the pitch is going to come from. So I'm going to now patch another one, and I'm going to use my keyboard still. I'm going to take a pitch out, and now where does the pitch go? It goes into the oscillator, because the oscillator is the thing that generates frequency. And, well, there's more than one thing that generates frequency, but we're going to then input frequency information, which is understood as voltage per octave. So let's put it into here. Okay, and then, whoa, sorry everyone. Modular synthesis. Okay, so now I have pitch information as well. So let's go back to our VCV rack. Now, what have I got here? So now let's catch up. So we've got I've got my gate going, cool. Turn that up. Are you hearing this? Sounds pretty terrible. Now, because I've just gone gate, just straight in, okay? So there's no ADSR, right? I didn't connect my ADSR. So let's check that out. So this is a wrong connection. So I'm going to go from my gate into, does that go there? And then out of here into there. That looks about right. Is that what everyone else did? Yeah, cool. Okay, and then so then after that, the next thing I did was I took pitch information. Okay, so from my MIDI CV, I went voltage per octave and I went into voltage per octave. Cool, okay. So let's see where everyone's at. Are you all following along? Are you all doing the patch? Let's just have a little pause for a second and see where everyone is at. Are you managing to make the patch? Where are we at? I think, yeah, the volume is a bit low on my VCV rack. So we've got this sound, which is my actual keyboard, which it sounds nice. Is this quiet too? Oh, that's too quiet. Okay, sorry. Is that better? Okay, I want this to go low. Okay, still quiet? It feels like I've just turned it up a lot. Okay, so Maxine is saying, okay, so it's all good now. Okay, cool. So Max is saying, made the patch, should I be able to hear something? Yeah, you should. So I guess the thing that I didn't do, we didn't talk about yet, is at the audio 8, you need to select your audio driver, your audio interface. So if you don't have an external audio interface, you should just, sorry, I'm trying to like upscale the webinars by using different mics. I've got a lapel mic, but it's not very good. I apologize about that. Anyway, okay, back to Maxine. So you connect, if you don't have an interface, you just connect built-in output, and then you should hear stuff. How'd that work? Can hear fine? Okay. All right, cool. So now, so let's just recap. We've got, okay, we started off, we've got an oscillator, then we have an amplifier. We attached to an amplifier an ADSR envelope, which made the sound have on and off, which we need silence to make music. So it gave us silence, and then it also gave us shape and contour. Then we needed, because once we have sound on and off, it doesn't sound all the time. So then we added, what did we add next? We added, hang on, I'm just gonna, oh no, I'll just leave my face out. You know what I look like. So, okay, we needed to add a trigger source, right? So then we added the MIDI keyboard, what a MIDI keyboard, a MIDI to CV keyboard is converting MIDI information, which is on and off signals and, you know, various things, into CV. So the CV that the modular can understand, which CV is control voltages, basically. Okay, which is about, yeah, electrical signals and stuff. Okay, so we added our gate that is going into the ADSR, and then we took the output of the ADSR to the mixer with the level of the amplifier. And then after that, we have shape, but we don't have pitch. So then we're thinking about, okay, so now we need to get pitch information, and we took that out of the keyboard. Okay, so now there we have a basic synthesizer. It's a basic one oscillator synthesizer. But that's pretty boring, right? So we want to step it up a notch. So what will we do next is the next thing I would do is that I would add a filter. So when we're going to add a filter, my filters are here. So now what stage, when should I apply the filter? Now I'm going to apply the filter between the oscillator before it goes into the amplifier. So I'm going to make another patch here. So instead of going, so I go out of here, out this side. Now, and actually I'm not going to use a sine wave anymore. I'm going to use a more complex wave so that it sounds a little bit more more interesting, because so we have overtones that we can filter, because a sine wave is not going to give us anything. So I go out of here, I'm going to go into my filter, and then I go out of my filter, and then I go back in. Okay, so if I now open up my filter, we can hear the square wave. Okay, now then I close my filter. Oh, now we have synthesis, right? We have proper kind of synthy sounds starting to get like something that we might use. Okay, so now, I mean, this is an important moment to understand, like there's lots of different types of synthesis. So do you want to throw in the chat, what are some of the different types of synthesis that you know about? We've done two types, oh no, we've only done one type of synthesis so far. So let me know what that synthesis is called. Okay, so we've got this far, we've got our filter. Now what comes next? What might we want to do next? Let's say that we might, excuse me, want to, oh my gosh, just starting to choke there. Maybe we want to not use the keyboard. Maybe I don't want to make the sounds with my hands anymore. I want it to be automated. So then I need a sequencer. So what I'm going to do is then the voltage per octave, I'm going to take that out of my sequencer. And then the gate information is also going to come out my sequencer. Now, I don't know what this sounds like. I was doing something kind of a bit atonal and a bit weird the other day. So let's see what this does. That's okay. Okay, so now I've turned my sequencer on, and that is sending information, gate and pitch information, to the other areas. Cool. Nice. And now I get to the stage where I could just sit and listen to those sounds kind of all day. Okay, so we've got some, yeah, so Maya's saying subtractive synth. Yeah, subtractive synthesis is what we've done so far. Mish is talking about FM, granular. Are they two different types of synthesis or the same one? What else? Anyone else know more types of synthesis? Let us know. Okay, so let's check back in on VCV rack. How's your racks going? Okay, where are we at? So far, are you hearing that? It's really distorting for me. I have to figure that out. But anyway, okay. So we have a basic sine tone. So I'm going to get rid of the sine tone. I'm going to make it a square. Whoa. Okay, I'm sure you all heard that. Now I want a filter. So here's my filter, my VCF. And instead of going directly into my mixer now, I'm going to change that. And I'm going to make that the output, and this is the output to two different types of filters, a low pass or a high pass, and then my square wave is going to go in there. Oh, okay. Cool. Nice. Aphex Twin vibes. Yes, 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 yes. Cool. Additive and West Coast synthesis. So West Coast synthesis, that's, yeah, I guess West Coast is kind of more related to Buchla, which is, no, I guess it is. Yeah, for sure. So there's exactly, so we've got subtractive synthesis, FM synthesis, granular synthesis, wavetable, physical modeling. what else is there? I guess they're the main ones, right? So understanding the differences between them helps you to then build them yourself. So, okay, where are we? I'll just go back to we've got our filter. Now the next thing is I want to add a sequencer. So let's do that. Maybe I'll put, maybe I'm going to do input. Does that work? Cool, yeah, okay. So I just wanted to have my scope just to give me some visual reference. So if you can't hear this, you can at least see it. Okay, so now we have, I wanted to put a sequencer in, that's right, okay. So, I'm gonna control click, and then the sequencers. Sequencer, where is it? What's one to look at? I'll just do this one. I think this is probably the easiest one to start with. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got gate, and now where is that gate information going? It's going into the ADSR, so I'm going to override the other one. Oh no, get rid of that. Gate out, gate in. Woo! Okay, so that's sending lots of pulses, and then the next one is, so here we've got row 1, 2, and 3, and these rows are relating to the 3 rows, and depending on how this knob is, where the position of it is relating to the frequency. Okay, so if I'll add that into, get rid of that, and then put that in here, and then change these randomly, and that will give me random different pitches. Or you can build up the sequencer you want, basically. Okay. Cool, are you hearing that? Are you getting some stuff? Okay. Let's just check in. How's everyone going? You still there with me? Cool. All right, so let me know. I always feel like weird when I don't have any interaction. So, you know, come on, help me out here. I'm in this room by myself, trying to make it work. Okay, so we've got our sequencer. I'm going to put up my modular because it sounds a lot nicer. Yeah. Okay, so we've got some basic kind of synthesis-y stuff happening. What other things can we do? So now we get into a territory of starting to, you know, kind of build more kind of complex sounds. So maybe I want to stack oscillators. Sure thing, we can do that. So I might go put my modular on again. Yeah, there is a, sorry, I'm just saying that now, there is a bit of a delay with the chat. It's always the way, I guess, yeah. So Ash is saying, what do you press to get access to the other modules? You press Control in the empty space, and then you see the other modules. All right, so we've got some basic subtractive synthesis with a square wave. Now, which someone mentioned FM synthesis. So what is FM synthesis? Would be my question to you. I will come back to that in a second. I'm not going to answer it just yet. I happen to have this verbose module here is a FM kind of module. So I'm going to take my, instead of taking the square output of one of the oscillators, I'm going to take the master output, and then I'm going to turn on FM. And then, depending on the position of this, I'm going to create different types of FM synthesis. Okay, now we really start to have some fun. So frequency modulation, Mish says, yes, absolutely, frequency modulation. Okay, but what is it? Like, what are we doing? What is happening with frequency modulation? what is being modulated? Does anyone know how to explain it more? Frequency, baby. Yes. Frequency mama. Okay, so what happens with frequency modulation, you have a carrier and a modulator, and one oscillator modulates the other. And the important thing to understand is that it's modulating it's being directly inserted into the pitch aspect of it's modulating against the pitch. So this kind of gets confusing often, but I want to demonstrate this point. I'll try and demonstrate it really obviously. Now, let me do something here. Let me try and change this a bit. Oh, actually, one sec. I think I'm just going to go back actually to my having one note. Let's explain this a little bit better. Oh, hang on, I did that the wrong way. Oh no, I didn't. Confusing myself over here. Okay, so what you can hear here is that, let me just check this out. I'll open up the if I turn this off, if I turn it off, we just have a standard signal, right? As soon as I turn on frequency modulation, now the question that you want to be asking yourself is, what is being modulated? What part? What's being modulated there? If you said the frequency, you would be correct, and that means the pitch. So what frequency modulation is doing is one oscillator is changing the pitch of another oscillator. Now that is also known as, what's the common name of that if you're a singer? Whatever, get my choir girl vibes on. So basically that's called vibrato, right? Okay, so at low levels, a low frequency oscillator will be audible in terms of when it's working on the signal. Now, as we turn it up, then we get into the zone of frequency modulation, when the modulation is happening so quickly that we can't hear it as a temporal impact, but it becomes a texture. So it changes the texture of the sound, and it becomes a kind of a tonal or a distortion kind of feeling. Okay, so why do we like that? Well, then that gives us complex information that we can then filter. Maybe I'll just hang on. I mean, this is kind of sounding a bit shit. It's always a way, isn't it? Okay, but anyway, these are the other vibes that you can, yeah. Okay, so it's changing cool, I'm just seeing that we're catching up there. Okay, so that's frequency modulation. Now, what if someone else said, so Mish said the amplitude, so maybe we're changing the amplitude. So what if we did want to do that? What if because I've got AM on this as well. Let's bring it down. What's that doing? Oh, I realized just then why. Okay, so sorry. So what's going on here is that we are making it a bit more noticeable. Okay, so amplitude modulation is when we are oscillating the amplitude. Obviously, it makes sense when you start to think about it. So now if I then put this into the audible range, I put the frequency into the audible range, and then we have a sound that was built with amplitude modulation. And then we're starting to get these really complex sounds that we can play around with. Cool. All right. Now, what else to say? I mean, I kind of think that that's all. All I really wanted to do for this masterclass was to like break down the basic kind of components of, you know, all synthesizers and demonstrate them through modular synthesis and get you to do your patch. So let's check in now with the VCV rack. Hang on a sec. Right. Whew. Okay, I think I'm back up. I have no idea what happened just there. Live streaming, baby. Apologies about that. Okay, so I mean, I'll just wait for a little second to see where we are. I think that using my VCV rack like freaked it out. We're back, yo, yes, that was scary. Cool, all right. Okay, I'm just gonna put my face back on. I think it can't handle too much modular, too crazy. All right, okay, so that little trip down modular lane. Now, do we agree that this microphone is a fail? It doesn't sound very good, does it? Yeah, I won't use it next time. So where are we at? I guess what I wanted to do in this, I hope that you have fun. Okay, the first thing is, did you manage to make the patch? Did you all make a patch? And did you all follow along? So let's hear that. Get your feedback. Did you make the patch? Yeah. And then I think the interesting thing is, like, you know, obviously through this, you know, this one masterclass, it probably won't make a difference. But I think I really encourage you to sit with VCV Rack a little bit more and like experiment with that, you know, like thinking about it from the building blocks and from this kind of basis. So Mish said, I'm a bit lost when we add the sequencer. Okay, so let's follow that up in the Zoom, which we'll start the Zoom in, like, let's say we start the Zoom at 5. Have a little cheat sheet. No cheat sheets. We'll do it together. I mean, you can make your own cheat sheet. You can also make notes and take pictures and stuff like that. I think the best thing for doing it is like just to do it. Open up VCV Rack and try and build it a few times. But look, I'll definitely go through this in a little bit more detail. But I'm going to share my Sequencer also lost you. You patched something wrong. No sound. Okay. Okay. Again, we'll do that. So Angela's had some internet. Yeah. I've had God knows what went on here. Okay. So the next thing to say, or the kind of, actually, I'm going to get my notes up and let's just check these out. Where are they? Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's just kind of go through it from the beginning. So we made a synth. We started off with a sound source and an amplifier. And then we thought about adding an envelope and ADSR. Then we can't hear anything. So then we need to have a keyboard or some type of trigger, a sequencer or a keyboard, to tell the ADSR gate to open, basically. And then once it opens, then it represents the contour that you set, and then it closes again. Okay, so we make sounds that change the temporal characteristics, but it still sounds pretty bad. We might need the filter. When you add a filter, that's when things start to kind of sound interesting, right? And start to sound like actual synthesis and sound good. Okay, so now the next thing that we want to do, we want to automate the keyboard. So this is where a lot of people got lost. So we want to take the gate out from the sequencer, and that's going to go to the gate in of the ADSR envelope. All right? And get rid of the CV keyboard. Then we want to take, for the sequencer that we have, which is on VCV rack, we're going to take the voltage per octave, or where you get the pitch from, it says row 1, row 2, row 3 with those sequencers. So we're going to then take a connection from one of those rows and put that into the voltage per octave input on the oscillator. Cool. So we kind of talked a little bit about frequency modulation afterwards, but we can also use modulation for anything. So basically we can add, so what are the devices in a synthesizer that create modulation? That would be the question that I would throw to you. Oh, sorry. Why is that not? I'm sharing the wrong page. Okay, so Amanda just need to turn up the frequency. Sorry, everyone, that I shared the wrong page. What do we got here? So Maya's saying LFOs and envelopes. Yeah, so I'm not going to share the screen. Apologies about that. I can send you the keynotes for this. Okay, so yeah, LFOs and envelopes. And what are LFOs? They relate to what is the name of an LFO? What is it doing? So I'm sure you'll answer. LFO stands for low frequency oscillator. And so as I demonstrated with my frequency modulation demonstration, when you turn the frequency down really low of the modulator frequency in the frequency modulation pair, it becomes an LFO because it's really low. Okay, so then LFO, by its definition, is below the level of human hearing, right? So what's that? 20 to 20, so below 20 hertz is considered typically a low frequency oscillator. So let's think about if I have a vibrato and I want it to be like to go if I tap out time, okay, so let's say this is a second, I have no idea. Okay, it's pretty slow second, but whatever. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm making 6 oscillations per second. So that would be an LFO of 6 hertz. Make sense? Okay, and that LFO would be connected to with them going if I slowed that down, that would be modulating the pitch. So I want the LFO connected to the pitch of my oscillator. If I'm going I'm trying to do a tremolo there. So that would be then my oscillator, my LFO connected to the amplitude, which we can show. So that the LFO to the amplitude is a pretty fun one, an easy one to do. What about if I wanted to change the envelope of the filter so it's acting in a different way than the amplitude envelope? So I can get another ADSR and I can connect that to something like the cutoff of the filter that I have. So you can experiment with those things as well. All right, okay, so that is all we have time for today for this intro to synthesis through modular. Hope it was fun for you, and keep practicing and keep playing around, and lots of fun to be had. And Pathway participants, I'll see you on my Zoom ID if you want to follow this up with some more one-on-one or small group feedback. All right, ciao for now.